right, we're shifting gears and we're going to examine the first complicated application of matrices, although the actual work on you is profoundly small. So we're going to use something called an augmented matrix. And the way that an augmented matrix usually comes into play in math is to deal with a system of equations. And you've seen this before, but this may already be giving you slight panic attacks because you know it's going to be a pain. You're going to have to like solve for x in terms of y and z, then plug it in, then solve for y in terms of z, then plug that in, then solve for z, then go back, plug it in, and plug it in again. And it's just like doable, but it's going to take a lot of time and a lot of work. I love solving systems of equations through substitution, which is maybe one of the reasons that I'm less attracted to the matrix approach, but I'll walk you through it anyway. Step one is going to be to re-render this information in what is called an augmented matrix. It's not actually functionally any different from a regular matrix, but we're going to represent it on paper just with a slight difference in notation. So each one of these items is going to be representative of the information. You see how the x's are all lined up, the y's are all lined up, the z's are all lined up, the equal signs are all lined up, and the numbers are all lined up. This means it's going to be really easy for us to represent this data in like a simpler way. So the first coefficient is a 3, which means I can just put a 3 there. The next one is a 1, so the next term would be a 1. Next one's a -2, so a -2, and the last one is a -7. And then right here, I'm going to draw a dotted line to sort of stand in for where the equal sign would have been. Second row, I've got a 2, I've got another 2, and I've got a 1 in front of the z. And on the other side of the equal sign, I've got a 9. And then last but not least, I've got a -1, a -1, a 3, and a 6. This, in and of itself, you might actually just like, from an aesthetic perspective, prefer this. This is definitely a lot prettier looking than that. Although, like what you can do with it now becomes a little bit more limited in the way that I like to think about it, because I tend to like play around and move things around, whereas this is like now kind of locked into this structure and in this space. There are operations you can do by hand, but I'm not going to require you to learn how to do a matrix by hand, because almost any situation where you learn counter a matrix, you will also have a calculator. Next video is going to walk you through how to take this matrix and put it into a calculator.